I think that technology is becoming and will be becoming a much more important factor in day-to-day life in general, not only on the way real estate is being managed, whether it is from a property or an asset management perspective, but Guillaume raised the point about how to attract tenants and how to keep them happy. And especially when I look at the residential side, we firmly believe that the whole leasing process will be changing. If I compare leasing a residential unit in the Netherlands to where it is, how it's being done in the US, it's a difference between day and night. In the day-to-day work of an asset manager, the experience, what I see in the market is that that it is data, or good data, is still relatively scarce, and the quality has room for improvement. I believe that technology will play a very big role in that, and you know, in a day and age where you can ask Google how many people there live in Burundi, how hard can it be then to have a system or to have the data in place where you can ask about the performance of your own portfolio, stats about portfolios of comparable properties or portfolio. And I think that and that situation is very close. That is not a question of 10 years from now. It will be, there is a huge focus on the clients that we work with on data collection and the quality of data, and especially the completeness of data. And having a mobile app for you as an asset manager, you know, on your iPad, where you can immediately see the performance of your portfolio, that is one thing. That's easy, right? It's just a view. That is a way of publishing it. But the big change will be is that you can actually rely on those data because you know, you absolutely know that they are correct and that they are complete. It is the single version of the truth that we are trying to achieve for clients.
Okay, good. And just in terms of the investment side, is there much more of a focus, do you think, being driven by the investors or the capital about getting more information on what you're actually doing in terms of your asset management? Is there more of a drive from that side, or is it more that you actively need that information to try and adjust what you're doing and maximizing the returns?
Well, I'll pick that up. I think that it's coming from both sides. I think it's if you don't know the data from property management, I don't know how you can expect to do good asset management, bluntly. Certainly some of our clients want to know everything that's happened, and we have, like, you know, pretty much live feeds of data. We're actually a Yardi user, and that then goes into their accounting systems, and there's a type of electronic transfer of data to them on a, you know, 600 or 700 tenants. So there are things you can do. I'm not saying that we've got the best answer in terms of property management. I know that we continue to lose money doing property management, but to manage the amount we lose to a minimum but try and do a good job, we combine technology with outsourcing. So we have 7 qualified accountants in Mumbai. They effectively operate a type of Yardi system and do all the accounting. And so by 9:10, I don't know which time zone that is, but certainly by 9:10 somewhere in Europe, all our property and asset managers are aware of who has paid and who hasn't paid overnight. And I think if you've got that type of quality of data, you can then make a start on asset management. But if you don't know who's paid for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks after the end of the quarter, I think you're well behind the curve. But it's expensive. India helps because you can get qualified people to operate the Yardi system pretty well. But it's still, the market won't pay you for that. So we do our own property management for certain clients and where we co-invest.
Okay, good. And is that the same for you guys in terms of how are you driven to provide that kind of data for some clients? Are there differences, I suppose, between the types of investors and what they ask from you in terms of your reporting back to them?
Yeah, I think first of all, the organization learned a lot during the last cycle. We expanded our investments into IT infrastructure a lot during 2005 to 2007, way before my time at the firm. But you still feel that there is a cultural change that you feel with people working at the firm who joined before that time or after that time. Then on today's world, we are certainly a multi-client asset manager, and the problem if you have more than one client, you have as many ideas of the right system and the right environment as you have clients, or sometimes even you have a client with 5 good ideas. So we are certainly not in a position where we have the one-fits-all system, and I'm also of the opinion that it's impossible to have it. But I'm sure that we and the competition will invest even more money into IT infrastructure. We need to integrate property and asset management more. And maybe what Michael says, outsourcing to India is at least a solution for part of the problem. But I'm not sure that it's for all of the problem. But when it comes to your point that we are not paying property managers a sufficient fee to do a good job, then at least for the residential part in Germany, that's certainly the case. If the client asks us to do a competitive bid on property management, you often end up with a property manager where you know on day one that they will not perform a proper job.
Okay, and so that's that's a kind of, presumably that's a key challenge that everybody is seeing really, that nobody's, that the investment is not necessarily paying for that part of it.
Maybe just to wrap up a little bit on that, is that definitely IT has been a catalyst for our business. I remember when I started, I just had like 4 or 5 different Excel sheets, one from the property manager on that line, blah, blah, blah. So you had to assemble everything in that thing. Now you have like gateways. So everyone, well, who's working for the building, around the building, is like putting all this data within the simplest software. Then it's gathered into different gateways, and then it, you just have to upload it on your modeling tool. Could it be an Excel model or whatever, Finesset, Argus, or stuff like this. And this is crazy because you just have to push like 2 or 3 buttons. You get your OPEX plan, CAPEX plan, rent roll, everything. And the only problem is the accuracy of the data. That's what you said. So, because obviously if the data, the upstream is wrong, or there's some mistakes in that, at the end in your modeling, obviously you have the same thing. So, yes, in terms of modeling now, it takes just maybe 4 fingers just to do the thing. So it's a great help. But the thing is, well, maybe now you spend more time just checking the data you received rather than just modeling everything.
Okay,
so,
good.
If I can add to that, and that is in short where technology will help in the end, that the asset manager can actually dedicate his time to asset manage instead of doing data checking and data control. So in the end, technology will help to make asset management more effective and more efficient.